The crystalline halls of the Galactic Trade Consortium echoed with chittering laughter as news spread across 17 star systems. Barris Chen, the human mechanic from Earth's outer colonies, had inherited the most worthless piece of real estate in known space, Kepler 442c, a barren wasteland that had been written off by every advanced civilization for 3 centuries. "Poor little human," wheezed Ambassador Thexali, his insectoid mandibles clicking with amusement. Getting stuck with that rock while his alien step-siblings divvy up the profitable worlds. The inheritance had been the final testament of Malthus Vex, an eccentric trader who had accumulated vast holdings across the galaxy before his death. His biological offspring, a sophisticated Zephyrian daughter, a technologically advanced Andromedian son, and a psychically gifted Centaurian heir, had each received thriving worlds rich in rare minerals, established trade routes, and advanced infrastructure. Barris had gotten Kepler 442c, a planet dismissed as atmospherically unstable, geologically worthless, and completely uninhabitable by civilized standards. Melissa Okonkwo, Barris's longtime partner and fellow engineer, stood beside him in the inheritance office as the other heirs snickered and whispered among themselves in their native languages. She watched Barris study the planetary survey data with the same intense focus he brought to repairing impossible engine failures. "You sure about this?" Melissa asked quietly, noting the contemptuous stares from the other species present. "We could contest the will. Everyone knows humans got the short end of the stick here." Barris's weathered hands traced the atmospheric readings on his tablet. "Look at these carbon dioxide levels, Mal, and these pressure differentials. This isn't a dead world, it's a sleeping one." The Zephyrian heiress, her translucent wings shimmering with superiority, approached them with false sympathy. "Human Barris, perhaps we could arrange a small compensation for your unfortunate inheritance. My new mining colonies could use some manual laborers." "Thanks, but no thanks," Barris replied, his eyes still fixed on the data. "I think I'll take my chances with the rock." 6 months later, the laughter had stopped. Barris and Melissa had arrived on Kepler 442c with nothing but a converted cargo ship, basic terraforming equipment salvaged from decommissioned human colonies, and an unshakable belief that every world held potential if you knew where to look. What the sophisticated alien surveys had dismissed as atmospheric instability turned out to be vast weather systems circulating minerals through the air itself. The worthless electromagnetic storms weren't random chaos. They followed predictable patterns that could be harnessed for energy generation. The Andromedians ran their geological surveys from orbit, Melissa explained to Barris as they stood in what would become the planet's first settlement. They never bothered to dig deeper than their sensors could reach from space. Barris nodded, wiping grease from his hands after calibrating another atmospheric processor. Typical. High-tech species always assume their instruments tell the whole story. What they had discovered beneath Kepler 442c's surface defied every expectation. The planet wasn't geologically dead. It was geologically revolutionary. The core contained a previously unknown isotope that could revolutionize faster than light travel, buried beneath layers of rock that interfered with standard alien scanning technology. But the real treasure wasn't the isotope itself, it was the planet's unique atmospheric composition that made extraction possible, without the massive environmental destruction that characterized most mining operations. The same unstable weather patterns that had made other species write off the world actually created perfect conditions for sustainable resource extraction. Within a year, Kepler 442c had become the most sought-after destination in the galaxy. The atmospheric processors Barris and Melissa had cobbled together from human salvage were producing breathable air for multiple species. Their improvised energy collection systems, built from repurposed spacecraft components, were generating more power than established industrial worlds. Most importantly, their extraction methods, developed through human trial and error rather than sophisticated computer modeling, were yielding the revolutionary isotope without environmental damage. "Impossible," declared the Centaurian heir when he arrived unannounced at Kepler 442c's new spaceport. "Our psychic surveys detected no valuable resources here." Barris looked up from the fusion reactor he was recalibrating, a device that had started life as a food processor on a human colony ship. "Your people can read thoughts, but apparently not rocks. Different skill sets. Melissa emerged from the atmospheric monitoring station, her tablet displaying environmental readings that would make any xenobiologist weep with joy. "The thing about humans," she said, addressing not just the Centaurian but the growing crowd of alien observers, "is we don't give up just because something looks impossible." The ambassador from the Andromedian Empire, whose technology was supposedly centuries ahead of human engineering, stared in bewilderment at the thriving settlement. "How did you know? How did you see what our advanced sensors missed?" "We didn't know," Barris admitted, tossing aside a wrench and wiping his hands on a rag that had once been part of a ship's emergency supplies. "We just figured that if nobody wanted it, we had nothing to lose by trying." He gestured toward the bustling colony around them, where humans worked alongside the first alien immigrants who had begun requesting settlement permits. Every advanced species looked at this planet and saw what it wasn't. Humans looked at it and saw what it could become. The Zephyrian heiress, her earlier condescension replaced by barely concealed envy, watched human children playing in the terraformed parks while their parents maintained systems that half the galaxy's engineers couldn't understand. "And if you had been wrong?" Melissa smiled, the expression carrying all the quiet confidence that had built human civilization from a single world to an interstellar presence. "Then we would have been wrong on a worthless rock instead of being wrong somewhere that mattered." But humans have a talent for making worthless things valuable. As news of Kepler 442c's transformation spread across the galaxy, the planet became a symbol of something that made other species profoundly uncomfortable. The possibility that advancement wasn't about having the best technology or the most sophisticated analysis, but about being willing to take chances on things that everyone else had given up on. The inheritance that had seemed like cosmic mockery had become the foundation of a new type of civilization, one built not on the certainty of advanced prediction, but on the very human conviction that every problem was just a solution waiting to be discovered. In the end, Barris Chen hadn't just inherited a worthless planet. He had inherited the opportunity to prove that sometimes the best technology in the universe was simply refusing to accept that something couldn't be done.